Christina Warren, entertainment editor at Mashable.com, and I am here with John Cho, better known as Harold from the Harold and Kumar films. John, how are you?
Very good.
Very good. So you've got a new movie coming out. Tell us about it.
The movie, yes, I do. It's called A Very Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas. So it is a Harold and Kumar movie. It is a Christmas movie, and it is indeed in 3D. Did I just lose you?
No, I'm still here. Can you see me?
Oh, there you go. I lost your video feed for some reason.
Okay.
Skype, love it.
Love Skype. Way to
have
go.
no complaints about Skype whatsoever. It's a legitimate 3D masterpiece.
So it's up there with Avatar?
Yes, it exceeds Avatar. It makes Avatar, as we say in the commercial, look avatarded. No, it's a stupid, silly use of 3D. We use it for gags, but I gotta say, sort of almost by accident, it looks really legitimately Christmassy and great. There are a lot. It's just sort of. I know this is gonna sound funny, but there are times when the use of 3D in the movie, from my POV, is elegant almost.
So yeah, I mean, was that funny? Kind of going into it, was the idea behind using 3D more just to be a gag and as kind of a funny conceit to say, hey, we're doing a Harold and Kumar Christmas movie, let's go to the next level and do it in 3D and really be funny about it.
Well, that was definitely a part of it. That was definitely a thing where I think the idea of doing a third Harold and Kumar movie, when we thought about it, I think the writers pitched a Christmas script, and then the 3D idea came along very quickly. And I think the idea was to make it a theatrical event. I thought, because the first two movies were really DVD performers, and they thought it would be fun to make a really big splash opening weekend this way. So there was that motivation, but also I think in a way the first two movies were as vulgar and as pervy and as silly as they were kind of radical. Like the first one talked a lot about race. The second one had George W. Bush in it. We made a lot of political jokes, and they thought, well, I think it would be interesting and a real hard left turn if we were to just make a very traditional movie. And in a sense, even though we shoot Santa Claus in the face, have clay penises, and have Neil Patrick Harris doing increasingly harder drugs, it is kind of a traditional movie as well, and it looks very traditional. It looks like an extravaganza. So they thought it would be a real funny goof.
Was it fun to make the film? Did you have a good time?
Always. At this point, the first one was the hardest one probably in terms of figuring out what we were doing. And it's gotten a little easier in the sense that we know one another. And particularly with me and Cal, there was a whole get to know one another thing with the first movie and try to convince people we could be best friends. And we don't have that anymore. We're actually friends, and so that part of it is, I think, the hardest bit. Is to just convince people we're friends, and the most essential bit, because I kind of feel like we have so many funny people in our movies, and I lost you. But we feel like we have so many funny people in our movies: Neil Patrick Harris, Bobby Lee, and so on, and Tom Lennon, and so on and so forth. We don't have to work that hard at that bit, Cal and I. What we have to do is just be believable as best friends, and the rest kind of takes care of itself.
So, did you guys have to plant anything in the White House to get Cal to make the third movie, or did that just happened to work out?
No comment on anything that the White House.
Mashable, we're a site, we cover a lot of digital and social media and stuff, and we noticed you have a Twitter account. Are you active in social media, online, any other places? Do you have a Facebook or a Tumblr or anything like that?
I don't. Twitter's the only thing I do, and I'm not super consistent on it, but sometimes I get into it. I find that it becomes like I have to go off of it sometimes just because it's so engrossing. Like you
Right.
spend the day thinking about tweets, and it's not healthy. There is an imposter on Facebook, so
Okay. All right. So,
like
so
he's acting as me. Is what's sad is a lot of my friends are friends with him, and it's kind of maddening. So people, that Facebook thing is false.
that's okay. All right. So the John Show on Facebook is not you. All right. We'll spread that around. But that's going to feel kind of cool, that you have like imposter, like Facebook imposters. I mean, that's funny.
I guess.
No,
I
no.
guess
Uh,
no.
but we'll have to let Facebook know that so they can maybe remove the accounts.
Right.
So we asked people on our website and on our Tumblr and our Twitter accounts if they had any questions for you, and a number of people actually had questions about fast forward, or flash forward rather. And we're wanting to know, do you think that maybe social TV and social networking and using different ways to connect with fans, do you think that might have had any impact? If that had been used better to save the show, do you think the show could have gone further if those sorts of tools had been used?
One wonders, yeah. I mean, especially when a show is canceled, it's definitely like after a breakup, you start thinking about what could I have done differently, and and I got Twitter at almost as we were being canceled, and I thought I should have been probably more active with this. But on the other hand, that there were certain dynamics in the. I don't really know the exact story of why we got canceled, but there were certainly dynamics with the studio and with the network that, as it pertains to our producer, that it just felt like I didn't think we had a great future, unless we were just overwhelmed with viewership, just inundated.
Gotcha. So from a filming perspective with the 3D, was there any special things you had to take into consideration when you were shooting certain scenes to make sure that they could, come across the right way? Were there any challenges involved with that?
Yeah, the lighting takes longer, which is the biggest thing. We have a very tight schedule because we're a low-budget movie, so we had a little less time for acting, but having said that, the movie, I think it was worth it. The movie looks amazing. And also, actually, this is a weird one, but the 3D cameras are so big, or at least were in our situation, so that, when we did over-the-shoulder shots, the actor who typically stands by the camera could not stand by the camera because the look would be too wide, and so when we did over-the-shoulder, we had to look at a piece of tape within the lens. And that drove me crazy about halfway through. Like I just couldn't stand doing scenes to a piece of tape. It was just going against everything in my body as an actor.
So, all right. So one of our followers on Twitter wanted to know if you celebrate Christmas, and if so, what's your favorite Christmas gift?
What's my favorite Christmas gift? Oh, that's hard. I had a favorite Christmas. We do celebrate Christmas, and I had a good one last year. My wife gave me a ukulele. That was fun.
Cool.
That's a fun thing to take to set because it's pretty easy to learn, and it's compact.
Have you ever used any of the iPhone apps that let you turn things into little ukuleles, or you can blow into them and turn them into flutes and harmonicas and stuff? Have you ever tried any of that stuff?
I've tried a guitar thing on my iPhone. I have a beatbox on the iPad. So yeah, I fool around with digital musical instruments that don't exist. That is
very cool. And this was actually a funny one on Tumblr. Someone wanted to know how do you look so good for your age? What are the secrets to looking so young?
I don't know.
I figured that'd be a random one.
Sacrifice young virgins.
Sacrifice young virgins. All right. So and very cool.
How about the noise? The gardeners have arrived.
So you
yes, I have lots of servants.
Lots of servants. Very cool. So you mentioned Neil Patrick Harris. Yeah. He's going to be. So he is alive. He is in the new movie, and you said does more hard drugs than ever.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
He's unbelievable, and he also does this. it's funny what we do in this movie in particular, which is that the first two movies I felt like all you've seen is depraved Neil Patrick Harris, and in this movie you get to see him do a song and dance number, and you see him interact with the public and do his fake face.
Nice.
And then you see him doing crack in his dressing room as well. So, like, it's fun to watch him bounce back and forth from America's Sweetheart to America's Degenerate.
Which is, I mean, that was one of the best parts of the original Harold and Kumar, right? It was he was such a great, character in that, and his television success afterwards, I think, has proven, that his versatility as an actor and his humor is great. You know.
The other thing that's happened between the second and the third one is that Neil came out of the closet,
right?
And it didn't square with the Neil Patrick Harris of our movies, and so we attempt to explain that in a very funny way.
Cool. I was curious about that. I didn't know if he was going to exist in some alternate universe, Neil Patrick, but you explained it. We'll have to watch and see for that. So, is this the final hurrah for Harold and Kumar, or do you think you might, want to revisit the characters? What's the future of these guys who always manage to get in trouble but have fun?
One would assume it's the last one, but you never know. I thought the first one was the last one, and I thought the second one was the last one. But yeah, I mean, as far as my willingness goes, and Cal's willingness, if people dig it and want one, who am I to say no? I love doing it, and it's as long as it's funny and grows up with the characters. What I liked about this third one is that I didn't want to do another Harold and Kumar where we were 22 and on the couch and in front of the TV and getting the munchies. Like, I just felt like, okay, we've done that. I don't think that's fresh anymore. And then in this one, Harold is married and trying to start a family. I just thought that was interesting to have Harold and Kumar have to deal with newer circumstances in life. And, like, I think it'd be funny to have Kumar have children.
Yeah.
Like, that would be funny, and still be him, and still, try and, find time to have a J and what have you. That's funny to me. The circumstances change in their lives.